I wanted to ask you right from the get-go, what do you make of the possibility? What have you been hearing about insider trading? We saw all this weird activity moments before Donald Trump announced this 90-day tariff pause. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's obvious that members and insiders took advantage, knew of what Trump was going to do, and they made a shitload, a bunch of money off of it. It's corruption right out in the open, perfectly consistent with Trump. About 30 minutes before he put the pause on the tariffs, he sends out a public note, great time to buy. Donald Trump believes if he's corrupt out in the open, it's not corrupt. And the Republicans believe the same now. It's bad stuff.
When you were a congressman, did you suspect any of this stuff going on then?
Yeah, because, and again, I was the poorest member of Congress. I didn't have much of a stock portfolio then. But the longer that members were there, Republican and Democrat, the more involved they were in the market. I've never understood, Brian, why there's just not a simple law that says when you're a member, you can't buy and sell stocks, period.
You think there'll be any accountability? Do you think the Democrats will investigate and there'll be any accountability at all? Like, for example, with Marjorie Taylor Greene and others, I think $300,000 worth of stock days before Trump made this announcement.
I'm afraid to say no, because the Republicans won't do anything and they control the levers in the House and Senate. But this is one of those issues, Brian, where the Democrats are almost as compromised. I could be wrong. And I'm a fan of Nancy Pelosi generally, but I think Pelosi has always pushed back against outlawing stock trading.
Yeah, I think that's very telling there as well. So what do you make of the fact that all these people that were sent to this El Salvador prison, we've learned 70% of them don't have a violent criminal records or even criminal records at all. And now you have this guy where the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 to bring him back to the United States, and the White House refuses to do so. The president of El Salvador refuses to do so.
I mean, it's just, I don't know about you, Brian. It's just, the whole thing is just so utterly un-American. 2 days ago, it was just a dark, chilling day when he sat in the Oval Office with the president of El Salvador, and they laughed about no due process for an innocent man. Yeah. And then Trump later talks about sending American citizens down there.
Yeah.
You talk about real dark stuff. And I talk to Trump's voters every day and they loved it. So I look, are we in a constitutional crisis? Yes. Will Trump defy court orders? Yes. What happens then? I don't know, but buckle up. This is going to get really bad.
Have you spoken, I would imagine you have, with some of your former colleagues at all about the situation that we're in right now? They can't be okay with this. They can't be okay with the threat of sending criminals in the United States that are U.S. citizens to other countries to high maximum security prisons.
They won't talk about it, Brian, even in private. It's an issue like this where Republican members won't even talk in private about this. This is the kind, and shame on them. What utter cowards. But they don't go there. They will talk about the tariffs in private. They will talk about how worried and concerned they are about the tariffs in private and how the tariffs might impact the Republican Party politically. But when it comes to the Constitution and due process and democracy and the rule of law, these Republicans, even in private, don't have the courage to talk.
If you're just joining us, Joe Walsh, former congressman and former presidential candidate. Joe, what is it like to be on a CNN set these days and to be sitting across the table from a MAGA Republican who curls up into a pretzel making excuses for Donald Trump? I mean, what is that like? Because you do this a lot.
Well, there's great money right now in being a MAGA Republican talker on CNN. Look at Scott Jennings, right? It pays. And it's gotten to the point, Brian, where I don't enjoy it as much because like guys like Jennings and some of the others, they're not interested in having factual conversations anymore. It's just all pounding Trump's ugly, cruel talking points. it's really gotten to the point where I don't enjoy doing TV now because it's almost impossible to have conversations with his people on TV.
Wow, how sad is that? I mean, do you have conversations with these guys after you guys are off the air? And is it pleasant, or is it just one of those things where you just keep walking to the door?
A little bit of both. Some of them will say, will after the hit, they'll like, come up and shake your hand like you and he were just involved in some sporting match, and isn't this just a game, and that was fun, and screw that, I don't think this is fun. So some of them treat it that way, but some of them, even in private, I want nothing to do with them. I don't want in a game, Bri. To you and me, this isn't a game.
Right. No, it's real life. There's a lot of people out there that are suffering. Where do you see this thing going, Joe? I mean, where do you see the war in Ukraine, what's going on in the Middle East, the tariffs, our economy? What do you think it'll take for so many of these MAGA Republicans to say, you know what, maybe we made a mistake? Where do you see the economy at in a year from now?
The only thing that could move MAGA Republicans is the economy. Like, Trump can lie about everything else. He can be best buds with Putin. He can do anything about anything, but he can't lie about your 401k, and he can't lie about your job, and he can't lie about that price of shoes right there you're buying your kids. And so if the crap really hits the fan economically on people's economy, that's going to hurt Trump. Some of his regular supporters are going to either just sit out or not vote for Republicans in 26. They are well aware of this, which is why I still can easily see Trump eventually walking away from the tariffs.
Joe, I want you to break some news with me right now. Will you tell me when you're running for office again? Will you announce that right now that you're going to run for office again?
Damn, I want to say, Brian, I'm running for president in 2026, but I can't say that yet. I don't know. You're a jerk, Brian. You know I want to run for something. I just can't find anything.
Joe, there are a lot of Democrats that are on your side these days. You know that. There are a lot of independents that are on your sides. And I think that there are some Republicans that are absolutely on your side that are just afraid to say it publicly, man. You have to run for office. I want you to announce it on this show. It has to happen sooner than later because we need more people like you.
A Democrat or an independent?
Where would you lean right now?
Probably a Democrat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I don't care, Joe, that we disagree on some issues because we do. We disagree on probably gun control. We disagree on abortion. Okay. But at least you want to do some things to help the American people. I don't mind if we disagree on some of those issues because I know you're a decent man. You're on the right side of history. You care about our democracy. And that's why I think you would win. If you ran for office again, I believe you would win.
But, Brian, is the Democratic tent big enough for AOC and Joe Walsh? That's the question.
AOC is certainly pretty far to the left. I have a lot of respect for her. I think she's a very intelligent lady. You are more in the center. And that's why I actually think you have an advantage right now because we need more people in the middle. Now, I won't lie to you, Joe. I think she's very attractive. She's very intelligent. I like what she's doing on the road with Bernie Sanders. I like these speeches she's making. But yes, I think the answer is yes, Joe. I think the tent is big enough for somebody like you. That's just my opinion.
Hey, Bri, if and when it happens, you'll hear about it on this show, you big jerk.
All right. I appreciate that, Joe. Hey, I hope you have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you until then, my friend, and regards to your wife, and we will talk soon, okay?
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Take